Hello, you are watching Elise Makes a Bunch of Videos. If you're watching this video on my Instagram, Elise takes a bunch of pics. I'll have a link to the full video because I know I'm gonna ramble on for more than the 1 minute that they allow for Instagram. But yeah, today's video is another quote of the day. It's from Robert H. Schuller. I'll have a link to my blog post where I talk about that a bit. The post is called Quote of the Day, Timing is Everything, and the quote is, never cut a tree down in the wintertime, never make a negative decision in the low time, never make your most important decisions when you are in your worst moods. Wait, be patient, the storm will pass, the spring will come. So I talked about this a little bit before, and mostly talking about the whole, like, if you're in a bad position, then like mental space, if you're not in a positive place, then big decisions are probably not a good thing to be dwelling on at that point. But then I didn't really talk about much about what to do to get your mindset to a place where you can make decisions. And I think it's just really important to think that even though in the quote it's like saying like wait and be patient, patience is really important, but when it comes to mindset, sometimes you have to take action, which means like proactively making sure that you are feeding your mind with positive things and being around positive people and really trying to turn it around if you're in a negative mindset. So yeah, it's just like I really love this idea of seasons because there's different times when you're going to focus on different things in your life. I always have health as my number one priority, and so I always have that there, but then there's other things. Obviously, it's not just that, like career and relationships and family and other goals that I might have for learning or investing or saving or whatever it is that I'm trying to do, travel and whatnot. So, there's different times when I need to execute on different things. And I just love this idea of seasons because, you can't be doing everything at once. A season could be like a day, a season could be a month, a season could be a year. Like it depends, what it is you're trying to accomplish. And, there is always going to be more than one thing going on at different times. But it's, you're going to be focusing on different things at different times. So that's basically it. And another thing that I've talked about in other videos previously, I think I had one that was called F being an entrepreneur from like a year ago or so. And I was basically just because I was really getting into a lot of sort of personal development mindset, law of attraction type content, and I was just kind of like, oh my god, like all these speakers and in the books, a lot of the ideas that people are using as examples, like people's lives of people who have been sort of like outwardly very successful in business or whatever, and sort of explaining how their mindset helped them to achieve that success in life. But most of those people are always like business owners. But I think it's just really important for people who don't want to own their own business to still be able to take the lessons from these sort of like personal development or mindset change class things or whatever. If you're doing any sort of like reading about that stuff and you don't want to own a business, that's totally fine. I think that was just one thing that when I was a bit younger, like in my early 20s, I started getting into, like when I first watched The Secret and things like that. When I first started like reading a bit about more about it and looking into it, it didn't really interest me as much because I was kind of like, well, I don't know if I really want my own business right now. And I think it confused me because for a while I was like, oh, like I do want all these other things. So maybe I need to have my own business in order to be happy in these other ways because all these like speakers and whatnot, that's what they do. They have their own businesses. But yeah, so now that it's gone more into sort of like um, actual like activities and work uh, in different programs and books or whatever, it's really more about like knowing what you want yourself. For me, I've really come to a place where I'm like, oh, I don't really want to own my own business right now. Maybe like 20 years from now, things will change. And that's the thing with me and my sort of life goals. I've had a lot that seem sort of like opposing in some ways, like go to university, get this like career path, but then like I started traveling and like I don't know. I feel my life is just sort of from the outside perspective. Definitely some family and friends who've known me a long time are kind of like, "What are you doing? You've just been floating around randomly." But it's really just been a series of goals, and one thing leads to another, even if you don't see that directly all the time, especially in your present moment. You don't notice that whatever's happening now is going to affect something that's completely different in the future. Anyways, so the main thing in the end is you can really still just have like health, wealth, and love, which is the main goal of all these personal development things. And you don't need to have your own business. And the other thing is just, it's like, yeah, it's just mindset. And I think a lot of these people who are talking about finding your purpose in life and things like that, I think it's just sort of like a lot of people are saying like I don't know what my purpose is, like, and it's just like all these people saying, "Oh, it's obviously life is so much better if you find something that you love to do and then it's not work, right?" But it's like maybe you are good at something and you sort of enjoy it and you're already doing it, and the problem isn't that you need to change careers or whatever, it's just that you need to change perspectives, and then you can actually love what you do, and it might not mean that you need to change what you're doing. So, anyways, that was just kind of my take on the whole thing, because I think at one point it was like it's so appealing to think like, oh, I can have my own business, I'll be out of the rat race and all this. But I think a lot of my experience bookkeeping and talking to people who have their own businesses and all the stresses that and responsibilities involved with that, it's like, quite frankly, I'd just rather have like a good job with a company that pays well and gives me things that I need in my life. Like not just like money, but like a nice work environment and whatever benefits and stuff like that. And yeah, that's actually that's like pretty good for me right now in my current state of being. So I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's like totally fine goal. And yeah, I don't know. I just have many goals in life. And anyways, so mindset. I'm gonna have another video of this 4-day class that I'm doing once I finish it, about mindset, and you can check that out. Also, use at your own risk. My playlist. I'll have a description. In the description, I'll have a link to that. This video will be included in it. It's not just my vlogs, but some other things that I've watched. So yeah, thanks for watching, and take care, y'all. Peace.